everyone, Sarah Stampin' Treat. I've not made a box card for a while, so I thought I'd make a cute pop-up box card using this Friends of the Forest stamp set with the cute little critters and this really pretty tree and our You're a Peach DSP. Now if you don't have this DSP, then it's currently on sale, so I would say get it while the stock's, if the stock's left, because it's a really good price just now. So I don't have a full pack left, but you get 2 sheets of each of these. So you can see I've just got a bit of this left with those nice peaches on the other side. I'm going to use this kind of flowery piece here with the stripes on the side today, and we'll also be using this cute stripy one because I want to make like a newborn card, because I think these little critters to me remind me of a newborn card. You can see it's a really nice pack of paper. But I just thought that these patterns here really kind of spoke to me in terms of being nice for a newborn card. So we're going to start with a piece of balmy blue cardstock for our card base. So that's 11.5 by 6 inches, and along the long side I'm going to score that at 2 3/4 inches. This, by the way, is my take your pick tool, but I've just lost the scoring tool that comes with the scoreboard, but it does come with one. Then I'm going to score it at 5.5 inches, I'm going to score it at 8 1/4 inches and at 11 inches. And then I'm going to score it down the middle at this 3-inch mark. And I'm just going to score it down to this second score line on that side, and I'm going to score it down to here on this side, so then you can see I've scored all the way across apart from this one panel, and that's going to be a back panel. So then I'm going to score all these score lines. Again, you can use a bone folder or something if you don't have nails. And then this you could do with scissors or with a trimmer. I'm just going to use scissors. So I'm going to, do you see this small panel here? I'm going to cut the top off this. So just cutting down this side to the first score line. And then I've cut it at an angle here. I'm going to cut it at an angle at the bottom as well. And then I'm just going to cut down all the other score lines just until I reach the score line that goes across. So then I'm going to fold these flaps down. Then I can bring this round, and then I'm going to take my tear and tape adhesive, and I'm just going to pop that down that tab. So then we've got our base, and then I've got my punch. I think it's called triple detail punch, but I'll list it below. I'm going to use the corner rounder piece, and I'm just going to chop the corners off each of these kind of flaps, just to give it a nice finished look. So I'm bringing this back in. I've got these 2 strips and they measure 3 1/4 inches by 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to score those at 3 inches and 1/4 inch. And then I can just bend those score lines, and I put a little piece of tear and tape on those ends. And then I'm going to put these inside my box card, because these will be the pieces where that we can add things to make them pop up. So I'm going to pop that inside one half here, and then I'm just going to just bend that, and then I can make sure that it's gluing in the right place so that it will still fold flat. So you can see now I've got two, one behind the other. That's my box card base completed, and now it's for decorating it. I've got these pieces, they measure 2 3/4 by 2.5 inches, and I've got 3 of the stripy and 3 of the flowers. So I'm going to glue the stripy around the bottom here. So now we've got the stripes around the bottom, and then with these I want to put them on these flaps. So I'm going to round the corners of these as well. So I just want to round 2 corners on each. So when you use this corner rounder, there's actually a guide that you butt the paper up against. So you just need to make sure it's right in that corner before you punch it. So then, just going to glue that on here. Now I'm going to bring in a spare piece of basic white cardstock. You can see I've got marks on it from when I've done some inking and things, but that's great for doing this kind of thing where I'm going to just stamp and then cut things out. And I'm going to stamp quite a lot of the stamps from that Friends of the Forest stamp set. So the first thing I'm going to do is just stamp these flowers and toadstools just along here, and I want that to sit along here, which is why I've done them all in a little row. And then I'm going to stamp one of each of the creatures as well. And also I want to stamp the tree. So when you've got a larger stamp like this, I like to tap it all over. If you find it hard to see like that, then you can take your pad to your stamp and just stamp it like that. And then I'm going to use my stamping blends to colour all this in. So I've got a light poppy parade here that I'm going to use for these little toadstools. And I'm using this chisel end. I actually usually use the brush end, but because this is so fine around here, I'm using the chisel end to give me a little bit more precision. And some of you might remember as well, the other week I did this skin tones blend chart. And I'm going to refer to that a lot here because I want to do the animals and the trunk and these bits of the toadstools, and it's nice to know exactly which tone I'm going to use. So I'm going to use this SU 900 for the kind of stalks of the toadstools. For those of you that didn't see it, I try and remember to link below to the video where I made this and used them as the skin tone on like a little girl stamp. And then I'm going to use the balmy blue to bring that in from the box itself for the flowers. So this is the dark balmy blue that I've got here. And then I've got my light old olive. And then my dark daffodil delight. And then for the tree trunk, I think that I like this kind of colour tones, the SU400, SU200. So the SU200 is the darker of them. So I'm using the two colours more to add a bit of texture rather than for any kind of like true shading. Then I'm going to use the dark and the light old olive to colour the leaves as well. Just adding a little bit of dark to some of them just to add a little bit of texture. So then I think this blend here is nice, so that's the 500 plus the 600 for the deer, so I'm going to go with that for the deer. So that's the 600 that I've put on there, and then I'm going to go in with the 500. And then I'm going to use this 1000 for just inside the ears. And then for the rabbit I'm going to do smoky slate, so I'm going to use the darker and light smoky slate. And then I'm going to use that 1000 for inside the ears again. For the fox, I'm just doing the ears again. And for the fox, I'm going to try using cinnamon cider with pumpkin pie. So I'm going to see how that goes. Although actually, this pumpkin pie is a really nice fox colour without the cinnamon cider. So I might just go with just the pumpkin pie. Or maybe actually, because I like this colour, I might go all the way over with the dark pumpkin pie. And then I'll use the light cinnamon cider as kind of like the shading. And maybe I'll just use this light pumpkin pie just for this little bird. So I'm going to cut these out with my scissors. I'm going to leave this bit here on that flat bottom because I just want to attach that along the front of the card. So I'm just going to leave that on the bottom and just cut around the top. I'm just going to leave a little white border around. So that'll sit across there. So I'm just going to cut off these into mushroom because we don't need them just now. So I want that to sit like that there. And I'm just going to carry on cutting out these bits. So now it's time to pop all these things onto my card base. So I'm going to glue the tree on at the back first. And with this, it's important not to have too much overhanging here because you've got to remember it's got to fold down to go in your envelope. And this will fit in a 6x6 envelope, by the way. So then I'm going to attach on some of these animals. I actually thought because the animals are moving quite a bit, I might actually just attach them with a piece of window sheet. Not a particularly long piece. You can see I've just got, I don't know if you can see actually on the camera, I've got a piece that's probably maybe just over an inch here. I'm just going to cut a couple of little strips off it. So let's use a little bit of tape at the bottom there. I'm just going to attach that on here. And then I'm going to pop a little piece of tape across the top as well. And then I'm just going to add on my deer. then there's my deer, and it obviously looks like he's jumping a bit then, doesn't it? And then I'm going to use the same process to attach my fox on. So I'm just going to add a bit of tape to each end. Actually, I want this a bit further down, so I probably need that tape a bit further up really. I'm just going to add the tape just here instead. And then you can see it looks like the animals are kind of playing around. I'm going to decide where the rabbit's going to go after I've put this in. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue just to the bottom of here. So I think I'm going to stick this rabbit just in the front here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down there. I'm just going to stick him onto here. And then I'm going to find a little dimensional for this bird. So I'm just going to cut one of these little tiny pieces off the side. I'm going to have him perched in the tree. So you can see that's looking really cute now. I just want to add a sentiment before we finish. So I'm going to bring in my scrap paper and my old olive ink, and I'm going to use this Welcome Little One sentiment, and that's from this Celebrating You stamp set that you'll probably have seen me use quite a lot. It's got loads of lovely sentiments for all around the year and all loads of different occasions. So I'm just going to stamp that on here. And I'm going to use my layering circles dies. You get 16 dies. Some have scalloped edges and some have the smooth edges. And I'm going to use this small one to cut out the Welcome Little One. And then I'm going to use this one, which is a size bigger, to cut a circle from Balmy Blue cardstock. So you can see the size of the circle that I chose to use. It does cut off that little bit of little there, which I'm perfectly happy with. But if you don't like that, you could always cut it out with this size circle and make the blue one a bit bigger as well. But I just wanted this little one. So I'm just going to glue those bits together. And I think I'm just going to cut these little toadstools that I cut off the end of here earlier. I think I might just put those at the bottom of there because I think that looks quite cute. And then I'm just going to add some dimensionals to the back of here. And then there's our finished card. And I really think that anyone that you give that to would feel really special, because I think you can, even if you're not a card maker, you can really see the amount of work that went into that. I'm actually trying to decide whether to round the edges up here. I think I might round those edges as well, just as a bit of a finishing touch. I would suggest doing this before you put everything on, but obviously I made it as a last minute decision, so I'm doing it now. And how cute is that? And it just folds flat to go in the post. So it should just cost the same as a standard letter to go. And then, or in the UK it should anyway. And then that looks really cute when it pops up. And you've got a panel on the back to write your message. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's project. If you did, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also subscribe if you'd like to see future projects. All of the projects that I've used for today's box card are listed in the description below, and there's also a host code there. So if you pop the host code into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month to say thank you for supporting my small business. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.